who arrived at the house to find his mother dead. The neighbors, who had heard the commotion earlier, wasted no time in sharing their own versions of what had happened. Some said they saw Chidima standing and watching as Mama Dozie choked. Others swore that they heard Chidima beating up his mother. The stories grew wilder with each retelling, and by the time Dozie arrived, his heart was already filled with suspicion. At first, he listened to Chidima as she tearfully explained everything, from the ATM to the sudden fainting, to the incident with the fish bone. But Dozier's heart was cold. He stared at her, his once loving eyes now full of disgust and fear. "You brought bad luck into my family," he said bitterly. "If you hadn't come, my mother would still be alive." No amount of pleading or explanation could soften him. The next day, Dozie broke off the engagement and sent Chidima away. He didn't even allow her to pack properly as he pushed her out of his mother's house and warned her never to come close to him again. Chidima was so heartbroken. She returned back to her home and met her landlady, who had come to query her for her rent. Chidima, still carrying her traveling bag in hand, tried to explain to her landlady that she had just returned from a trip and would pay her rent soon, but her landlady insisted, saying that if she was unable to pay by the weekend, then she had to move out of the house or risk being reported to the authorities. Chidima begged and pleaded, but her landlady was unmoved. With a stern warning, her landlady stormed off, muttering about how some tenants turned out to be irresponsible. Exhausted and heartbroken, Chidima dragged herself into her tiny room as she collapsed on the bed, weeping bitterly. She cried until her throat hurt and her chest ached in a way that she could not describe. Whenever she closed her eyes, Dozier's mother's last moments replayed in her mind over and over again. Chidima found it hard to sleep. She knew that she had to resume work the next morning if she ever wanted to pay her rent. She was not as privileged as others and knew that she had to work twice as hard. So by morning, she got herself up and got dressed, ready to go resume her job at the daycare. As she walked towards the junction, Chidima caught sight of a group of people who were gathered in the distance. The scene looked chaotic, and Chidima could not help but walk towards them to see what was happening. To her greatest surprise, she saw her landlady dead on the floor. A huge truck had crushed her the night before as she tried to cross the road. Chidima could not help but panic. She ran back to her room and shut the door. Her breathing was sharp and ragged as she leaned against the door. Her mind raced wildly, refusing to settle. Two people dead after having an encounter